Okay, ladies and germs, welcome to episode 4. We're in the director's cut. This is what it is, okay? What it is I have astutely, instead of putting this footage on the cutting room floor because we're approaching dark, it's sort of like dusk at the moment, and you leave us where we end episode 4 as I lay down on my little bed and have a bit of a rest. And then at that point I did log out. I didn't even, I don't think, move from the back of the car. Now logging in right now, you'll see I'm in exactly the same spot essentially where I left in episode 3. But only difference is you're talking to a future Lucifer from the future. This is no longer the Lucifer who was playing the game that day on I think around the 2nd of June. This is the Lucifer 16 days from the future. I jumped into my space machine and now I'm well aware of what this guy is going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. Because I think we're sort of like up to about episode 8 in playtime, but it's still obviously on the cutting room floor. I was just, as I sort of pushed and put the episodes out for all to see. And let's face it, it's not really going well at the moment, but at the same time, they don't give me a good algorithm. I didn't loot here before, and I've found a baseball bat, yay. Although I hate them, actually. They're too goddamn slow, and they don't do enough damage. Well, they sort of do the same rough damage as a sword, but they're inherently more slow, so why the hell would you call them feudal? A good weapon. The best weapon, because it's not the best weapon. The katana's the best weapon, Mr. 50,000 subs. Please don't give people the wrong sort of advice. I mean, the baseball bat sort of looks cool for maybe, but so does the sword actually, and the sword does a lot more blood. But listen, it's an okay weapon. It's better than the pitchfork, that one useless one from episode 1, but it's sort of somewhere above that and well below the sword. So don't listen to him. The baseball bat does actually blow. Probably a metal baseball bat's better for damage, but of course you can't put a nail on that. But so if you have a metal bat, you're probably better off, because it will do, the aluminium bat will do far more damage than one of these old wooden ones, even with a nail or two in it. In fact, to be honest, you'd think that it would occasionally get stuck. You should have like a chance of melee failure with this bat. But all good for selling. I'm going to fix it up and sell it. My motto is get as many sewing kits as you can and restore everything up to 100%, because in the loot environment that we're in, it does pay to try and keep your gear back to 100%. Therefore, the price will be larger. But like I said, this footage was going to be, I was going to just not bother. But then when I sat back and was watching the other 3 episodes unfold on my channel, I thought, there's a lot of things that and some directions that and maybe I've made some mistakes. I probably have, definitely, by the amount of or the lack of watches, but I think that you couldn't really ask for a better start, like a better overall explanation on how to play the game. So far, I feel confident that this is a great start with a lot of zombies compared with most people, right? Definitely a good source for someone who's never played the game before to realise how to fast track it fairly quickly. Because just running around the map, picking the best, like cherry picking the best loot until you've got every single slot filled in your backpack and you can't physically move anymore, isn't really good viewing for me. Because there's no, so what? Now you filled the backpack up. What? End of the episode? End of the whole series? No, you need to build a base. You need to have storage. You need to do those extra things, and you need to do them first. Otherwise, it's going to impede the rest down later. And what we're doing is we might have started slow, but guess what? Once I've got the base installed and stuff like that, it's going to be let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. It's not going to be run on foot. It's not going to be, I'll catch up with you in a minute, boys, and we'll have to fast track this part of the episode. No, no, no. It's going to be all just, right, let's go to the sardine factory for food. Let's go and do this. Let's go do every single drop that we can get our hands on. Let's go do the B2 bunker, that sort of thing. And those things are good sources, reliable sources to get a lot of loot, right? Then you can try those sort of more risky areas once you are kitted out. But there's just no real point to try and do it right now. And he finally gets the right seat, right? I don't think you can actually fit it in. So we do, I think, end up either leaving it on the floor or something, right? Because she's filling up, and I realise at this point we need a chest. So I think the chest will be built soon. I'm going to build a couple, I think I do, from memory. But the real kicker was is as the sun goes down, and that is probably the very reason why I didn't put this just on the floor and not worry about this episode at all. But one, I thought it was important to show you how we get these two cars to be one to start with, and also to and I didn't want any downtime from finding the car to miraculously finding the jack just over there when I just turned off for 2 seconds. There's going to be none of that shenanigans going on here. I'm going to have to with a solid plan now put and he finally puts the seat in. But the great part about all this is that we got a great car, really. We have. Okay, we've got 3 doors to find, but other than that, there really isn't too much more other than a full car straight away. You normally got like the bonnet hanging off, or can't find this, can't find that, but really all we need to do now is get wheels onto her and drive her out and go build a base. And I'm going to use that paint. I think it's the off green, the forest green or something. Oh no, it's flat brown. Okay, but it doesn't really look very brown, right? I suppose it's sort of tanny looking, but yeah, I'm gonna. But that's good enough for the moment. I think that looks good. She's just not going to look like a banana, which is great. And now we just got to leech everything off of wheels, and this is a sort of sad part, really, because we've sort of pushed him around for the last 3 episodes as my scrolling chest, and now he's just going to be some sort of legless carcass in the fringe of C3 town, and he might even disappear. Who knows, right? If I've really stripped him of everything. So, but what we really need to do now is rest up and prepare for a long run to the quarry to try and find our car jack, and then I think irrespective probably have to run to the trader to get the account sorted out and get some money in the account so that we can, when we've actually got wheels on broken, we can go fill her up. So but now it's just a long laborious task of taking everything out of wheels and just condemning him to death. And the way to do that is to make a chest, I suppose, and that's what will be coming up shortly, and I'll do it with those logs there that are in the actual thing. Waste not, want not, right? There was one thing I need to possibly do, and that is ensure that I take my bank card, because it is a good trick to destroy your bank card when you first start in a PvP, if you know that you're going to have a fight. But really, the best thing to do is to, again, find 2 nails quickly, or 2 scrap, and make those 2 nails, or find 2 nails, and build a chest, and then bury your bank card. Okay, what you do is you chop down a tree, and where you see that tree butt disappear from the ground, you bury it right there. So essentially, because when you bury something in the ground, it makes a little brown, sort of a round indentation into the ground, and then of course if the tree goes back over it, no one will ever find your chest, not unless you're unlucky enough for them to actually, in this sea of trees, chop that very one up. So maybe don't put it under this one or that one, put it somewhere in a more of a better location for, but also a location that you can remember too, because of course there's nothing worse than walking around going, I'm sure I buried a chest here, I'm sure I buried my bank card here. But I wouldn't get rid of your bank card, I'd bury it. Just find 2 nails, 2 bits of scrap, turn them into nails, make an axe, grab, I think it's 3.6 meters or 36 units of string to make the shitty chest, and then bury it. And because it does take a lot of, you've got to pay 100 for an account too, to get a card back, you'll have to pay 100. So by you throwing the card out, you're going to pay 100 before you start, and there's no real need to. You might as well just bury your card safely somewhere around near where you find the 2 nails, somewhere central, or somewhere where you're going to have a future base, and just bury it. It's simple, so such people go to silly lengths with regard to the way they run their game. It's just like, don't, like, every single stream says throw the card away. Don't, just bury it. You don't have to throw nothing away. You've just hidden it. You've hidden it in this land, and you know where you've hidden it, right? So, oh brother, don't be silly enough to throw 100 away, when you don't have to, when you can just put it under that tree there, come back for it when you need it. But also, it's a point of having good skill and not needing it, right? I mean, or needing it, or using it pretty much straight away. And although we're episode 4 in, I've only done it in 1 hour increments, in fitting with the rest of what most people stream is like an hour or under. And I'm putting in some torches, by the way, because here it's getting dark, and 1, I just needed to see it from my own perspective, but 2, I think what I'll do is I will turn the gamma up a little bit when I do this edit after I've done this voiceover, because like I said, I initially killed the original audio and was just going to scrap this, and also put this thing by the wall, right? Because when you do a torch and you run through it, you'll take burn damage, but you're not going to be silly enough to run into the wall. So try and put your torches out in the open, or in a location where you're never going to walk past it or get close to burning it. But when you're in your base, you've got a couple of those good torches, you don't really need a fire. You're almost sweating already just by having those 2 torches on in the house. So currently, suffering from cold isn't an issue. If you stand near just even a torch like this, you'll start to sweat, in fact. So if you're starting to shake, or you see the edges starting to snow up around the periphery of your screen, just make a torch like this, put it on, stand near it a few seconds, and then before you know it, it'll be saying, I'm getting hot, and you'll start fanning. If you get really close, he'll go, I'm getting really hot, and then he'll pass out like I did in episode 3 from hypothermia. But I'm sorry while it's a little bit dark, but of course no MVGs, didn't get to find that, not in episode 1 essentially, or for day 1. But it's really dark, and guess what happens? the mist comes, and it just brought a spooky vibe to this, because I was expecting like zombie respawns and to get attacked, because I'm running around banging stuff, making noise here, and I thought, I knew that the one in that room spawned back, and at any time she will spawn back, or he will spawn back, and then just attack me in the night, which I was sort of hoping happened in some ways. But I don't think anything really does, other than it just gets really eerie and the mist starts rolling in, which I really enjoyed the mist. And then they sort of took it out after some sort of I think either season 7 or season 8, as it was becoming a problem, just like the rain was for a while. I remember when it rained, it started lagging, So there's definitely been some issues with the game over the years, and it seems that they've got most of it sorted out now. It'd be nice if they could sort of, like you can see now, look at that, how scary that is, right, out in the mist there. You couldn't even see anything. Look at it, I'm just walking into like fog at the moment, and it doesn't help much with the torches either, but obviously it does help a little bit, because if a creature or a zombie did come, it would probably come from this direction, or I'd get attacked near the broken inside the fence from the respawn of another one in those buildings. But like, look at that, it is so pitch black out there, it's so freaking dark, you can't see nothing. So but we've got a bit of light here, and we've got enough timber to keep it going, so no, I don't want to put it out. And now it's just a matter of making some chests, and getting all this stuff out of our broken car, and then going to get the jack to finish this off, and drive in to get the base. So essentially now we have I think got to a point in where we're comfortable, where providing like I don't die, between getting that jack and coming back, and I know all about that, and what I find along the way actually, but needless to say, there is a happy ending, and that's all I'll say. Is there's plenty of death, but none of it is mine. And we get a reasonable base built in by the end of day 2, essentially. I think it's about day 2, right? Well, we're definitely building base by day 2, and if not finished, we got roof on. So less than 48 hours after jumping out of the plane, I've got a car, I've got a house, and all the amenities. Like, I'm not up to 6 or 8 episodes before I think about building a base. I mean, who do you know that within one day of playing can have enough for a base, and have enough for and have a full working car, and didn't have to spawn anything in, right, to get it, more importantly, or I just found a car over there and blah blah blah, right? I mean, you saw the car we run straight up, it was the first thing we found, wheels, and it was perfect. It was a perfect storm. And I don't know if I'm going to be so fortuitous next event, or next time I play, but I've got a couple of friends who play online, and I might jump on their PvP PvE server. It's fairly quiet, but you will from time to time get a couple of people you bumped into. I've already met a couple of new people on his server who are currently playing. Go out to Vex and a couple of other people, Nudge. But those people who have been playing with me in the online servers, it's fairly quiet. That's what I'm saying, is with Scum, unless you go with like a server that's got 40 or 50 people and sort of made for PvP, you're never really going to find a good PvP server. if it's predominantly like PvP or PvE, you're never going to find a good server that has just ruthless players that will give you the sort of experience of PvP that you want. Because even on most PvP servers, I get people come up and go, "Hey buddy, are you hostile? Do you want to make a base?" And it's like, is there anybody that's actually, I just want to shoot you so that we can play some PvP. Because everybody in Scum is pretty friendly, and that is, it's a community, right? And that's sort of why we're here, and that's sort of why there's no real point to just to go off and just act like a hooligan, shooting everything for 5 minutes and then dying 10 times, because the idea of this game is survival. Hashtag survival game. Hashtag zombie survival. That's what it is. That's what we're playing. We're playing a survival game. We're not playing a PvP. If you want PvP, like I said, go get PUBG, whatever, because you can have lots of brawls. You can have like multiple people, attackers, and you're not really going to find that here. Unless you come. Okay, a single person's walking through a town. He comes up with a squad of 3. A squad of 3 will kill him, right? So you best be quiet and do nothing. Therefore, avoid PvP. Okay, if you find a one-on-one, that's probably the best scenario. But then most times one-on-one, he'll go, "Are you not hostile, are you? Do you want to join up and we'll join together?" And because it's that sort of environment on here. So really, you don't never really get PvP on Scum unless you're on one of those big servers just specifically designed for it, And then it's sort of like, looks like a bastardized version of PUBG, but it just more clunky because, you need so much more, and then, right, you're always going to complain. It's like maybe you've got all the best gear, but then guess what? You've got an infection, right? Or you've got a broken leg and you can't run, or something, right? There's so many different things to slow you down in this game if you're running around quickly that you're going to complain within 5 minutes that you got sort of stream sniped by people because you weren't ready or had a broken leg, or you just ran back to pick your guns up and then someone shot you again. It's just it leaves you more with a bad taste in your mouth, because the PvP here can be unfair, right? Especially if you're like 2 versus 1, and 2 versus 1 you will die, right? Every time, pretty much, strength in numbers. Like, the second you get shot, you're pretty much dead. Especially with a bow, you'll be down. You won't, like, one thunk, you're gone. There's no just, quick, go behind the thing and bandage up like DayZ. That's more designed for PvP, because it sort of gives you like stages of, like, first stage, very light. Second stage, medium, don't get hit again. Third stage, oh boy, I'm bleeding out. Need to bandage right now or I'm going to be in trouble, right? But here, it's one hit and you've got to stay for the next 15 minutes bleeding out and bandaging and then trying to avoid infection and maybe taking half your clothes off. You can't do that in the middle of a field when you're fighting with 2 or 3 people. You just can't, Whereas PUBG, you can sort of just quickly duck into a shed, and maybe use a couple of bandages and you're almost good to go again within 5 minutes. Whereas here, you get an infection, you got to sit down, lay down for 15 minutes to let it go. This game is more realistic, but in its beauty, it has its flaws. So I'm hoping that the advice that I can give you and the stuff that you see and the way I go about it will make you have an easier journey in a harder environment. So, and if you can use any of these little tricks or tips, and the main one is just, take everything, because, if you look at even the crap I've got left here, you can make something out of a lot of that. And there's a lot of food, paper, and there's needles, and there's stuff that you wouldn't normally have taken, but you can construct and you can craft and you can take it with you. And that really is the essence of Scum. Is the part where every little zombie cloak or whatever can make something meaningful and really give you a good return. On getting real items back for crappy items. Just like the jog jacket at 50/60-70%, you know. Most people would just either cut it up for rags, and bad rags at that, probably wouldn't even bother, right? But I can fix it up, make it back to 50%, and I can carry 6 or 8 more metal than I could before not wearing it. So, you know, it just comes, I mean, and the more stuff you know, the easier it becomes, right? Maybe most people didn't know that, you know. And just like this now, what I'm going to do is, for the trip, I'm going to make a second backpack like this, right? So that I can wear one, and in 6 slots of my other backpack I can put a second backpack in here, and if I find too much at the quarry for selling, I can carry it with me. So now I'm going to try and create a second improvised backpack and put it inside the current backpack, and essentially then I've got one hiking backpack of carry space, you know, as what I'm working with. So just make a second one of these, and like I said, these backpacks are beautiful because they only take up 6 slots in the inventory, and I remember that your Harley Davidson could fit 4 of these in perfectly, I think, and 2 and I think 4 slots at the bottom for 2 improvised water flasks with petrol. So you could fit 4 backpacks of these sort in your chopper, and 2 improvised or 30 or 3 litres of petrol, I think it would work out to, because I think the improvised is 15 units of drink at 100 millimeters a unit, which would be 1.5 litre essentially. So the improvised water container, or the zombie container, the one you can see on the bottom row here now, is 1.5 litres, and you can fill 2 of those up and fit them in the chopper, as well as 4 of these backpacks. So you could have sort of like 2 hiking backpacks full of loot, plus enough petrol to sort of, you know, stop you from conking out anywhere. I think the chopper was a great bike, really was. It's a shame that they haven't brought it back and they've done some sort of, let's just stick the skulls on a dirt bike to, you know, emulate the chopper. But nothing beats the chopper. And as you can see now, I've got a second backpack here, so this second backpack will come with me as my second bit of security, as far as if I have to carry anything additional. And bear in mind, I'm going to have to carry a car jack, which pretty much would take up around 20% of the inventory anyway, because they almost do fit one whole row. So when we go running to the quarry, we're going to now look at that. Wow, look at that darkness. That's scary, right? And the mist. It's like you just can't really see through that pea soup out there, and it's just so freaking eerie. But the good news is I can't hear any zombies, and I know I've cleaned them out. I cleaned out that garage. I cleaned out everything just before I logged out, which means really it's suspended in time. So most of the zombies around here, I think, are dead and gone from me killing them while it was light. And in a single player game, time doesn't move on, it just stops when you log out. So essentially, if you've looted these boxes 10 minutes ago, it's still on the counter. And if I don't leave this area and go somewhere else to come back, like the quarry, this spawn will never re-loot, and never restock, so I can go pick up more. So I'm sort of spinning my wheels here, but obviously spinning my wheels is the tone of this episode, is just the demise of wheels, and how well we done in less than 4 hours of gameplay is pretty much secure a car, secure everything to build a base, and then really I've got to go down there, to B4 Trader. But first I will go to the quarry and see if I can get lucky finding a jack, because I've got some lights here, and I'm going to take as many lights as I can. I think where I got the battery from the lack here, I got, and I think I did do that off camera. Actually, there was a couple of farms that, like 1 or 2 farms that had car parts, and I just predominantly pilfered the lights, and that's because that's really worth a lot of money. But I think I'm probably going to end up with like maybe between 8 to 12 car lights to sell, and I could even sell her ones too, just for the money, because sooner or later I do usually break them on running too many zombies over, and at night I'll still make the mistake of running them over, because it's better to kill them in the car and not take any damage, right? Like I told you, I'm not going to be showboating in this episode. I'm not going to be like, I'm Mr. Feudal, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to cause a horde with one clip on my VSS. No, I'm not going to do that, because, and then find out how to run it. It might be interesting, but, if we really want to do stuff like that, once I got the base built, I'll build a gladiator pit, and then I'll spawn in 100 zombies, if that's really what you want to see, and I'll do a gladiator episode where I'll make a small little circular fighting pit, and spawn 100 zombies in there, and then I'll open the door and let them all out, and I'll run like a bastard if you want. But really, I prefer to let the environment and the natural gameplay take its course. I think the reason why you're going to see everyone has different, like, there's one guy who's got zombies spawning on the roof. Feudal's got no zombies spawning in any houses, but an awesome amount outside. Like, it's okay while you haven't got a car, but the second you got a car, it's easy street. And that's what I didn't like about his server, is the second I got a car, it was easy, But before then, it was really tough because the zombies were everywhere. But that is a very small transition for me. I found a motorbike fairly quickly in his thing. And once I found a motorbike, I picked up let's face it, back then in season 4 and 5, it wasn't so hard. All you needed was, I think it was the battery. The battery had to be in the car, and pretty much every car had an engine. It was just, to be honest, I can't even remember. It's been so long what you had to do, but it was really just, I think it was 2 or 3 things in the car, wasn't it? It was like needed the battery on, and petrol, and and your wheels had to be pumped up, I suppose, or whatever. Or there had to be a wheel, but the wheels didn't even come off. They had 4 wheels. Every car had 4 wheels back then, so it wasn't so modular back then. It was easy to find a car. And once you found a car on Feudal server, you just run the zombies over and toot the car. So I just drive around the police station 3 times with my horn on and get them all out, right? And then run them all over, and then just jump in and go loot the stuff. It's not really rocket science what you can do, and the smart players do that when the video cam is off. But when the video cam is on, they'll try and do some stupid thing. But I'm not. I'm going to play the percentages, because, like I said, I care if I die. To me, it's sort of almost game over. If I don't die to something stupid, like an infection or something like that, if I got taken out in, say, a bunker by, a horde of zombies, I don't know whether I'd start again. I would say that Lucifer died doing what he wanted to do in there, and I'm not it's for me, this isn't a game. For me, this is sort of almost like a one-time show. I will debate whether I continue on or not. Depends upon, obviously, like if I got a plane and then all of a sudden I'm driving along and then the server crashes and then I log back in and I fell to my death, obviously that's not really my fault, right? But if I go in and I go guns blazing into a bunker and I deserve what I get, then I go down in a blaze of glory. And I think it's time to roll a new character, essentially. I don't think that oh damn, I'll just start again, you know. But I'll I'd like you guys to comment a little bit too, just to tell me whether I'm on the right track, whether content sucks, whether you know, I try and add music, but this is the director's cut. This is me talking over an old bit of footage, knowing the future. So, and I can tell you, I don't die. Like I said, plenty of zombies die, but I don't. So that is the sort of the one little hook that you're going to get 35 minutes in. So stay tuned. It's all good. We have a happy ending up until we have a house. That's for sure. But I'm set to go on bunker runs now, in around, and that will probably. I think I've got like 4 more hours of footage before we're up to speed. So it could be up another 3 or 4 episodes before we follow the fresh stuff. But like I said, I just wanted to ensure that you knew that everything was above board, and also see the process and see the demise of Wheels now. You know, like there's really probably not that much left in his in the car now, and we've transferred a lot to the chest. We've transferred a lot to the other vehicle, and it's just a damn shame now that he's going to sit here forever. I'd much rather her sit there and take her engine out. In fact, if you could just push him to the trader, I could probably buy an engine. But having said that, I think you need to definitely have a lot of fame points for that, and 13's obviously not going to cut that at the moment. So, but they are your options. I could actually have pushed him to all the way to B4 trader and purchased an engine, and it would have, providing I had the money, everything would have had the same sort of result. But boy, that's a lot of pushing. It's easier just to now go on a couple of loot runs, and I like the idea of going to the quarry, because the quarry also is a great source of building materials. So I'm only going to add on the amount of building materials. If I can find a few more boxes of nails, a few more boxes of bolts, we should be fine. Sorry, excuse me. But yeah, we've pretty much, I think, almost come to a part where we're up to date with what you know, for episode 4. And I did have that sort of little bit of do I don't I with this nighttime footage, but like I said, I put the torches up, and then I thought what I can do for something different is to have a future me come in and tell you a little bit about what happens in his future, in his immediate future in the game. So we get to every place fine. We get to the quarry okay, but unfortunately we do fail to find a jack, but we buy one then at the trader. So and find a lot of scrap metal, make some more nails, sell some stuff, and end up with about $400 or $500 after everything, after buying thread and buying some necessities. we get around $400 or $500 for petrol for the car, but I do have to do a series of loot runs, and she does only have one full tank of petrol at the base, so we do need to go on these bunker runs to get guns now. And that's pretty much where I will leave you to guess the rest. But I just wanted to, like, please try and like and subscribe, because with the way my algorithms are, well, the actual real algorithm, it only showed 300 Scum users when there's 16,000. So I'm pretty sure more people would like my content if they actually saw it. But I obviously need more subscribers to get my message out there. And it's a shame that there's someone here that has all the knowledge and experience, and over time you can ask me questions and ask me things to do, and show me, well, how do we do this properly and how do we do that properly, and I'll give you my pros and cons on it, because really my whole experience in this game is survival. I don't do any risky stuff to lose my life, like you don't in real life either. So that's the reason for trying to emulate the game and not play it in such a frivolous manner. The streamers are great, but really, when you're playing a single player game, you don't want to be dying 4 times in 1 hour. If I died like Feudal, like 4 times in an hour or whatever, I'd either have to change the settings, which he is doing. I know he's doing it. You can see he does it from episode to episode to suit his thing. I'm not going to be doing that. If things get too hot, I'm just going to have to run away. I'm not going to go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it no matter how many times I die. I'm going to keep running in and do it. It's like, dude, if you haven't got the gear to do it, stop just embarrassing yourself and just go and do stuff within your game parameters to start with, because people want to see real. They don't want to see, Tommy, put in 55,000 goats because you need food, or whatever. You know what I mean? I shout out to you, Tommy. I remember you on my servers. You didn't stay long though. You didn't stay long, but you just stayed long enough to get a few hints from me. But it's good, it's good that I do know a lot of the community. I've been in Raykit's server too, but I found too hollow, and people were a bunch of buttheads, really, most of them actually. I mean, maybe things have changed now. He seems like more, I think that's what it was. He wanted, like, let's do PvP, but he knows now that it doesn't work, because at the start he was sort of like, I'm a PvP player by law, I PvP everything. It's like, dude, you play Scum, you're definitely not a fucking PvP player. Play PUBG for 280 days solid, you know what I mean? And then you're a PvP player. But again, it gets boring. It's just like it's like watching The Running Man. The Running Man's great content. He is so fucking funny. He is a little bit obtuse, and every time I message him, he never messages me back, because I always try and give him a bit of shit. But his content overall is fairly boring. Sorry, but he's funny, And maybe I'm the same as well. I'm not sure, but I'd like to think that I'll give you sort of the best advice I can for the Scum that I've played. That's for sure. And I definitely won't be loading up a pitchfork as my main weapon, And I officially name her at this point. Boom, broken. She is broken. And what can I say? It's the birth of our car, but she just needs wheels. She just needs wheels as wheels, right? But this point now, as you can see, my backpack's almost empty, right? And it's about time just to look at the stats now. You can see I've got 42% food, and I'm almost up on water. That's fine, but it's about building maybe another chest. I'm not sure if I build one more chest. I think I do build 2, but now it's more like just emptying out the final things of wheels, and getting ready for the night run ahead to the quarry. which I will cutscene for that, okay, and I do think there is a couple of zombie incidences, but if they're in the dark, I'm not going to bother. And once I'm up to date with all the 8 episodes, I'm going to do a zombie killing montage, I think, just to count the amount of zombies. And bear in mind, I've avoided a lot of zombies. I've seen them in the fields and just walked on. I'm not someone that's like, I know how far you need to be away. You can just walk past them. And some, as you can see with the guy that was in the shed when we first entered this area, he didn't even know I was there. I opened the door, shut the door, got my bow out. He didn't even listen to me. He didn't even react, didn't even, look around or nothing. He just like, on his little haunch, just moaching around until I pumped him with a couple of arrows in the head. Zombies really, in all honesty, aren't that difficult. The difficulty is the loot settings, because if you've got any loot settings that's 1+, you're sort of on easy street. You're going to get enough food. You're going to, like at 0.5, at this level loot, if you don't know how to play the game, you will definitely starve. And I'm sort of starving at the moment, although I do have food. I've just been moving around a lot, and sort of constantly moving for this whole, since we basically jumped out of the plane, really. So that's the reason for, you know, the hypothermia and all those things. I didn't really get a chance to look at my character to rest long enough to keep him happy. But he definitely needs food, like I do now, in real life. So I'm going to in 5 minutes end it up. But in fact, I might even play a bit of music. I might play out a bit of us with a bit of music, because I did start just on the boring side of things, and I'm going to add some eerie music whilst I'm talking, because I've looked at this. I love this mist, and you know, I'm too afraid to really go anywhere in it anyway. You know, at the moment, I've got to be honest. I don't want to run in the mist and get hit and chance to die, because I value my life in this game. You know, I don't think, oh, let's just run for the content and I'll die 10 times. No, it's stupid to go and do something like that, and I'm not going to, and I'm not going to jeopardize my character in the dark. You know, it's okay if we got a car or something like that, but overall, we haven't got it. But I'm glad you hopefully are still sticking around. Please like and subscribe. I really do appreciate if you try and interact a little bit more with my channel, and just tell me if things suck and if things are slow, and maybe. But you know, by the same token, just be aware that this is my first video, and I really want to. I didn't want to do a video that rammed stuff down your throat and said you must do this, you must do that, blah blah blah. But I just wanted to show you my way of doing things, and hopefully you've learned a couple of tricks and tips that will keep you alive in a low loot scenario. You know, but the main one is just grab everything you find, and make sure that you put chests down and you grab everything of worth, and get them bases down quickly to get chests so that you can maintain your loot, you know. Whereas running around in a backpack and cherry picking and dropping a baseball bat with nails for a steel baseball bat is not really progression. I'm sorry, you know. Build a base, get a well, get some plants, have a place to store your car, have a place to stay warm and place to cook, preferably have a place to hunt, and a central base for a drop. You know, like I said, when you get a base, the drop will appear around your area constantly, and you'll loot up quick enough. Okay, you'll get a gun or bullets and ammo and sights every time. So all you got to do is play, and a drop will happen every 30 minutes to an hour, and within 3 or 4 drops, you can have a full working gun. You know, you can go from rags to riches. But anyway, have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this director's cut and my just general impressions of the game. Like we didn't really do too much, but we'll be ready at episode 5 to pick up the action and go to the quarry, followed by the traders, followed by a car, and then followed by a base. And that's when the stuff really starts. Thanks for listening, and please like and subscribe, like I said, and please do some comments on the channel, because I'm interested for feedback, and also you can discuss maybe future things, things that in the future where we can possibly do something that the audience wants to see, as against me just sort of playing Scum and giving you tips along the way.